Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we get going to see those hands, I really wish to thank you for watching. Please, if you can, just hit that little subscribe button, hit the like button. I can bring you more action, bring you more hands, bring you more videos, but I could use your help. So just go ahead and click those buttons. You know the ones I'm talking about. If you guys want to see the total for this $500 a day 1-3 challenge, just make it to the end of the video. We'll have our running total for the this is our 6th day. So also today we had a jackpot hit at the casino. The casino dealer is a friend of mine, and later he comes over to our table to deal, and he brought a lot of action with him. So stay tuned. Happy to have you here. All right, we're coming back here to Capital Casino. It was a little stormy last night, got some rain. Never played in a tent outdoors on a stormy day. The wind's blowing pretty good. We'll check it out, see if the tent is waterproof. Let's go inside. All right, we start a new game in the 1-3. I have a $300 in my stack. First hand we look at, we have pocket eights. We had one limper. I'm on the button. I raised to 15. I get the big blind and the limper call. Flop comes king, jack, 10. Absolutely no help for my hand. They check it to me, and I'm happy to check this one back. Turn card comes as a 2 of hearts. Again, no help. Now the first player leads for $40. The opener looks at his cards, thinks for a while, and then calls the 40. And I'm completely done with the hand at this point, so I toss them in and get out of the way. The river card comes as a 2 of clubs, pairs the deuces. First player starts to assemble a bet, and the player just mucks his hand. All right, the dealer had a misdeal and brought the cards back, and on the second deal, he gave me queens, which I like. So I open for a raise and I get a couple callers. Flop comes queen, jack, 7 with 2 clubs. I have the queen of clubs in my hand. First player leads out for 20. I'm putting them on some sort of flush draw or combo draw. I raise it to 45 to get it heads up. He goes ahead and puts in the call. Turn card comes is a 10 of hearts. It completes a possible straight, but I'm not too concerned about that. So when he checks it to me, I bet 100, trying to price out a flush draw. This player goes into the tank, and he goes in for a while. It's obvious that he really wants to play this hand. I'm putting him on some sort of big straight draw, flush draw type of hand right now. And I'm kind of hoping that he folds, because normally when there's some sort of misdeal, I always get cold deck. I don't know if it happens to you guys, but it seems to happen to me all the time. So I'm hoping he's going to fold, but he doesn't. He goes ahead and puts in the call for the $100, and then we're off to see a river. The river card, well, that's a beauty. It's a jack, so I fill up, top full house. I got about 125 left. He checked to me, and I stick it in there. And he tanks for a little bit, and then he just goes, I just got to call you. And he puts in the money, roll over my hand, and it's good. He ends up showing pocket kings. I could not believe they had pocket kings in that situation, but he did. And so I'm happy to take this one down. It's a nice pot to start off the day, and off to the next one. All right, next hand I play, I was in the big blind, ace, deuce of diamonds, 5-way limp pot. Flop is pretty good. Comes queen, 10, 9 with 2 diamonds, so I got the nut flush draw. Being out of position, I decided to check it. It gets checked around to the button, who bets $8. Seems to be a good price, so I go ahead and call for the 8. Then the middle position player puts in a check raise. That's a pretty strong move. This kind of flop, you think he has something like a two pair type of hand. He's an aggressive player. I figure okay, I can go ahead and call that check raise, see a turn. If I hit it, I might be able to stack him. If I don't, he might be able to bet me off my hand. So I go ahead and make the call. Turn card comes as a blank. It's a 4 of hearts. I check to him, and he just shoves all in. Can't do anything but get rid of the hand here. I got Jack 8 of diamonds and the blind. It's limp pot. I see the flop. Flop comes queen, deuce, 9 with 2 diamonds. Good flop. Flush draw, gut shot, straight draw. But I'm out of position, and it's a small pot. So I just check it to see what happens. I get a free card, and the turn is a king. It doesn't help me at all. I check it, and now the player bets out $6. And player next to him calls. So when it comes back around to me for $6, I'll take it off. So call for the $6, hoping to hit either a 10 or a diamond. And the river card comes is neither. It's a 7 of clubs. So I check it, going to surrender. Next player bets. Following player raises to 35. I just muck my hand. I'm glad I didn't play it fast. And next player goes ahead and calls for the 35. And the second player had 2 pair and takes it down. And the other player flashes a king. This next hand is a perfect example of how not to get yourself in trouble. You get to see a free flop from the big blind. Flop comes queen, queen, 8. And you got an 8 and you're out of position and someone makes a little small bet. Just let these things go. You're not losing anything but a small pot. This next hand I have king 10 of spades from the blinds. I check it when it comes king high. There's 2 diamonds on board. The player in the cutoff goes ahead and makes a bet, $11. That's a fair price, so I come along. We're heads up now. Turn card comes is a 7, and it pairs the board. So I check again, thinking that my kicker is probably good enough to beat him since there was no raise. He bets out 20 this time, and I go ahead and make the call. So I'm hoping for no diamond or no 8. And I get a 9, which should be a good card for me. I check it. He thinks for a while, then he just checks it back. And I roll over the king 10, and it's good. This hand I raise with queen jack under the gun, and I get 1 caller from out back. And flop comes 8, 5, deuce, all rainbow. I go ahead and make a continuation bet for 15. This player has a tendency to call me pretty light on flops. Turn card comes is a king. This is way better for my range than it is for his. So I figure it's a good way to continue here. So I make a bet for 30, and he quickly mucks it. I pick up pocket 8s again and put in a little raise. I get 2 callers. So we go to the flop 3 ways for $45. Flop comes ace 10 3, and it gets checked to me. I'm not going to bet this kind of flop, so I just check it back. Turn card comes as a 5, and now the person in the blind just goes all in, and I'm done with the hand. At this point, the jackpot dealer from the other table comes over to our table, and the action gets pretty interesting. So here we go. Player raises to 12 on the button. I am in the small blind with ace-10 of diamonds. I go ahead and defend. We got the early player that opened or limped in for 3, and then player next to him who also limped in also called for the 12. So we have 4-way action to a flop, and the flop is Jack, 8, 3, 2 clubs. Nothing for me. I check it. First player who opens bets out $35. Pretty good sized bet for a limper. Signals some strength, maybe at least a jack, possibly a flush draw. Following player just smooth calls for the 35, and when it gets around to the original raiser, he raises to 115. He's a very solid player. Type of hands he'll be doing this with is probably consistent with over pairs or possibly a nut flush draw. So I look at my hand and I said, whoops, missed another one, and I go ahead and muck. But I had a feeling that this was going to be a special hand, a lot of action in it. So I kept the camera rolling, and I'm sure glad I did, because I haven't been making very many hands, and I wanted to get some footage for you guys. The original bettor now, who bet 35, does a little Hollywooding and then stacks up his chips and ships them all for $259. The next player looks at his chips and thinks for a little bit, and he decides to call for $259. Now I was trying to figure out what kind of hands they would have. I figured maybe someone has something like the 9-10 of clubs and flopped a really good combo draw. I figured the first bettor, I think, when he originally bet out for the $35, I put him on like a pair of jacks or something. But now with this shipping, I think he's more likely to have a set, possibly pocket 8s or pocket 3s, since he just limped in. I'm leaning towards pocket 3s. This second player who goes ahead and calls the 260, I'm putting him on a big combo draw. I think maybe like a 9-10 of clubs. If he had something else, I think he would probably, push his whole stack in to force out the original raiser, who seems to most likely have an overpair, or either that or the nut flush draw. So for the second player, if you don't have something good, you're probably up against a flush draw. But the pot's so bloated here, everyone's in. So we got 825 in the main, one player all in, and the turn card comes is basically a blank. It's a 6 of diamonds. And now the second player just shoves all in for $250. The other player has about $210 in his stack, so he goes ahead and he calls off. And the side pot, the guy rolls over jacks and 8s. I didn't expect that, and he wins the side pot. And then the original shover, he turns over pocket 3s, which I did expect. So he wins a $825 main pot. The second player loses a little bit on it, but what a hand. Action is picking up. And someone opened for a raise, and I looked down, and I got a pair of 10s. I'm hoping this is my turn. It's been a long time in between hands. So the flop is a pretty good one. It comes Jack 10-4 with the 10-4 of hearts. So it gets checked around to me. I make a bet of $20. Looking back on it, I should have made it more like $35 or $40 because the board is so wet. But I haven't had a lot of action, so I decided I wanted to draw them in a little bit, which is a mistake. I need to protect that hand a little bit better. The turn card comes as a 3 of clubs. I go ahead and make a $75 bet. Again, this puts a second flush draw on there, so now the board is basically twice as wet. I really need to size up here better. Maybe something like 125 instead of 75. Anyway, I end up getting 2 callers, and as we're going to the river, I'm really regretting not sizing up. The river card comes is a 8. It puts a possible straight up there if someone was playing a queen 9. I really can't picture how either of the 2 players that are in the pot are in there with queen 9. So when they check to me, I go ahead and put out a value bet of around $200. The first player is a little short. He has about 150-ish in his stack. The second player has me covered, so I got an additional $220 something behind. But I'm not too concerned. I think I'm good here all day long. I bet 200. The initial player goes ahead and makes the call, and the other player folds. I roll over my set of 10s, and it's good. So that puts us up for the day. It puts us over that $500 mark. This is one of those days where I wish I could go ahead and stay and play because the action was really picking up. People were a little stuck, and they were gambling. But true to my challenge, are up 500, we cash out. All right, just finished up. Weather is kind of bad, but casino's doing good. No leaks. The wind situation is hardly noticeable. It was actually warm in there, so they got those heaters going. Worked good. I had to take my jacket off because I was a little warm. All right, thanks for watching, guys. As promised, here's our 6-day total. If you like what you see, hit that button. See you next time.